I love how it starts. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. I'm going to stop there. I was reading about, because there it goes again, 40 years. How many times is 40 significant in the Bible? One. Huh? Do I count?
I was saying every time.
Exactly. And the thing is, and what's so funny is that I was reading about 40 years this morning, and there was a group of people, you know what they said? You know, a lot of people look into the why that God chose 40 years. It's not important that God chose 40 years. If it wasn't important, why did God say 39 and a half? Why did God say 30 years? Why did God say 29?
You should say some.
You know, the thing is, you can get all kind of symbolism out there, but the thing is, there is a specific reason. And so 40 stands for something. It's time of testing. There's a whole lot of things about it. So here, basically, in essence, here we get the Israelites being delivered into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman and said unto her, Behold, thou art barren. I can only hear her say, duh, and bearest not. Thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine, nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hands of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him whence he was, neither told he me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated the Lord and said, O Lord, let the man of God which thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that he shall be born. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman, and he sat in the field. But Manoah her husband was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband, and said, Behold, the man hath appeared unto me that came to me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came unto the man, and said, Art thou the man that spaketh unto my woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now let thy words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of the Lord said unto Manoah, Of all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. She shall not eat of anything that cometh from the vine. And he goes on. So if you notice, Samson never took the vow of a Nazarite.
Except for birth.
Except from birth. Now, I've always had this thing about Samson. And one of the biggest things, and I was reading it again this morning, and no matter how bad I try, I still cannot get over Samson. You know, and my problem with Samson is that Samson knew, and later on we'll talk about it, but it's just, again, these are things that, it's the whole Delilah thing, I have never understood. I did a test. I guess I could call it the Delilah test on my wife. Seriously, I did the test on my wife. I was sitting there, and I knew I was single, and I knew that I wanted a good woman because I've had bad women all my life. And apparently, Kai, I can't make the decision or the determination of whether she's good or bad because I've always picked wrong. So I was like, what? How do I test this? How do I find out if she's a good woman or not? Because, David, if my history is proven, all of them look the same, all of them behave the same, we all ended the same way, I wanted to do something different this time. Have y'all ever been there? You wanted to do something different? And so what I said was, I said, I don't know what to do. somehow or another, God, because I was not following God back then, but He gave me the test. I had never read this test before. I had never heard of this test before. And you know what the test was? Is she a good woman or not? And you know how I figured it out? I said, what I will do, and I told my buddy, let's find out if she listens and if she's smart enough to hear. So he said, what do you want to do? I said, this is the thing. I said, talk to her about manners. Manners. Being considerate. And I said, if a man opens the door for you and comes to his side, because we didn't have keyless entry, you had put the key in the lock. Man opens the door for you, gets on his side, and he has to unlock his door. I said, if the woman reaches over and unlocks the door for him, not only has it proven that what Amber had listened to that, but she applied it. So sure enough, we went out on the date. Bernard told her this. We went out on a date. I opened the door for my wife. I walked over there and I was jiggling my keys around, and she reached over, Carrie, and she unlocked the door. I was like, heck yeah!
I did that forever. I had to. We drove the celebrity. I learned.
Oh, right, she
to
did
But
to me
again,
all the time.
in my mind and how this thing worked out was great. This is God's sign of this is a woman that actually is worth investing in, worth being married to. However, Kai, that whole theory fell apart the day we got married and we stopped at Marshall. She goes in, she gets her an ice cream cone, she comes back out, and I was like, where's mine? Go get it. If you want one, they can get them in there. So there goes the whole test, but the thing is, point is that if you look at this Hind story and you look at Samson and Delilah, and like I said, we'll talk about it later. But the thing is that Samson, now did you notice what his parents did? First things I caught out of this, and I've never known this. Samson's mama doesn't have a name. Did y'all know that? I never knew that Samson's mama did not have a name. She's the one that the angel of the Lord appeared to. She had enough sense to go tell her husband. She had enough sense that when her husband prayed that the angel would come back and just, hey, I just want to confirm all this before I stop drinking beer. I need to confirm all this stuff. I've always said that God, if God laid something on me, I'd be like, I don't know. But I've always said when my wife agrees to something, yeah. I've told my Masonic brothers, I said, hey, if you want to convince my wife that I need to come back to Freemasonry, y'all talk to her. And when God convinces her of it, guess what? I'll be back. Guess how many has went to talk to her? 0. I usually will use my wife as a test. This whole business thing that we're in, I prayed about it. Amber says, this is the one that I believe in. So which one do you think I'm going to follow? The one that my wife, that's why God brings you in pairs. That's why God does these things. But she has proven over time that what God will echo through both of us, and we're two together and we're bound on this idea. But did you notice, out of all the things, the angel told his wife what to do, but what did the man of God say? What did Manoah say when he prayed? That we would know. Teach us how we're supposed to do. Why do you think that was important that he was taught how to do these things? Number one, he verified it. But he wanted to make sure that what? He did it right. He did it right. Why? Because it was important. Because why? God was going to raise up a deliverer. You will not read, and I hope you do read, it's in 13 through 16, you'll find this is the story of Samson. But you'll find that Samson had never made the vows of a Nazarite. He was raised by religious traditions. So that's where God had laid it on me. Samson had lost his religion. Because you'll see that some of the things that Samson done, even as a judge from God, was not religious things. Samson was a judge. He was a judge over Israel. And he looked upon a harlot and said, well, I gotta go get me a hooker. Well, how in modern society is going to get a hooker? But again, you see Samson. You tell the story of Samson's first wife and why he killed all of them people. Because his first wife, his parents said, man, why do you got to have one of them? Samson desired someone of the Philistines. The Philistines were the ones who invaded him. His mom and daddy said, why can't you marry a good Jewish girl? Well, they ain't hot. Basically, that's what he said. Because she pleased him. She was attractive to him. He was drawn by the desires of what?
Heart.
Flesh, which is the heart.
Yep.
So the thing is that we see Samson's behavior was behavior of a religious person. Because Samson didn't cut his hair. Did he?
Nope.
Nope.
He didn't drink.
He didn't drink. But we'll find later on that while he was passed out after the hooker Delilah, we'll find out a lot of little things as we're looking through these and you're going through these things. You'll find that Samson did not display godly traits because Samson had been raised and dedicated as a model of religion. You got that? So it's quite possible that you could have all these models of religion.
It's like white Jesus.
Huh?
It's like white Jesus.
Perfect example. White Jesus. Or even worse, you don't go black Jesus. Doesn't exist. Jesus was a Jew. If you look from a Middle Eastern person, you'll see them, and you'll see them they be in bread, and you'll see all these other things. But yet, man, when you come down to the true thing, you'll start seeing the real picture. But even within that, the thing is that, see, even that becomes religion. Why? Because here's this thing that we're choosing to define God. The name Yeshua, the name Jesus, becomes a dividing point. The thing is that name is not critical. It's the concept. It's that ideal. It's that godliness that's behind all that. Does that make sense?
Where your heart's at.
Where your heart's at. And the thing is that when we are living this lifestyle that God is defining and the pursuit of godliness, the pursuit of this spirituality, connecting with God and through the Son, and when we start pursuing this reality, we start finding that religion becomes less and less important. The religious aspects, the religious things, because what was said about circumcision? Circumcision is a perfect example of religion. Paul said, man, if you try to live by circumcision, you might as well, you're trying to live by the law. And if you try to live by the law, you got to live by what? All of the law. So any religious belief that we try to live by and define by or define other people by, what are we doing? We're being religious. And the thing is that it's not godliness. It's religiousness. So in breaking these essences where you can say, well, I want to live in the world and I'm getting better at living in this world. Because like I said, for me, everything that we've been going on and every road that we've been going down is this road to me of revelation. Why is this so important? What does the scripture say about revelation? This is where you really got to take hold of these things. What does the scripture say about revelation?
Make it worse.
Think about this thing. What does it really say? That in the last days, he will pour out his Spirit.
Spirits. Truth. Visions.
Huh?
Spirit, or like visions and dreams.
The old men dream see visions. We are in this point. We are approaching this line. I think about, and I really understood, and I really am trying to even understand even better, and why, and I'm going to say this. If I understand a test, what does that equip me with?